And welcome back, this is Baller Scuba with more bonus episodes of Let's Play Xenosaga Episode 2. We are about to wrap things up because I am joined, as always, by my max level champions of Ziggy, Shion, Jr., Jin, Momo, Cosmos, and Chaos. As you can see, they are all level 99. Honestly, I don't know what that next level thing is. It's nothing. Don't worry about that. There is no level. We are maximum level. Should I win a battle, that will not go down. So that's weird. But we are indeed max level. So before we get underway with absolutely destroying the Patriarch with our completely over-leveled party, let's go over our completely over-leveled party. I'm just going to go over the ones that I have still in the party. We'll just go through them in order this way, and I'll go over the stats that they do have and how I have them set up. As you can see, the total experience is ridiculous. Here is Ziggy. Ziggy does have every skill. He does have max level and all that good stuff. He also has, as you might expect, the highest strength and vitality in the game. 97 and 96 are it. However, his dexterity is terrible. Pretty much the rest of his stats are terrible. The dexterity, remember, Ziggy punches people. That's kind of what he does. He does contact moves. He punches and kicks and he does that kind of stuff. Yet his dexterity is the worst in the game. It makes no sense to me, but that's what you get with Ziggy. His evasion is very low. He's slow. His agility also reflects that. It's tied for worst in the game. He's slow, but he is powerful. He does have the most HP in the game, the least amount of EP in the game, and his ether attack and ether defense are honestly pitiful. They are not only the worst in the game, they're the worst in the game by a mile. He has almost no ether attack and ether defense. Do not use ethers with Ziggy unless you have to. In terms of how I have him set up, I do have overload on him. As you can see, I have that on everybody. 50% chance of stock +2 when using the stock command. Really, it just allows me to get the combos out faster. That's the reason that I have that. I also have damage -10 on him, lower all damage received by 10%. That's especially useful because of the ether defense that is ridiculously low. I also have rebound on him. There's rebound. Rebound, 50% chance to counter boost after guard or evasion when using the stock command. Pretty much, if they try to attack me physically, I more or less have a 50% chance of counter boosting, because they almost never hit. Except for maybe Ziggy, because he's got the worst agility. And then finally, we do have combo boost that allows me to boost even when the character icon is showing on the screen. As you can see, that's pretty standard for what my setup is across the board. His EP is terrible. HP is huge, though, and even 4,000 for max level. That is going to be the highest in the game. All right, next up we do have Shion. Shion has pretty bad strength, but that's fine because she actually uses ether during her normal attack, and her ether attack is actually very good at 90. Problem is that it's not the best ether attack in the game. It's actually tied for 4th. So in terms of her actual damage output, her damage output does not match others just as a pure statistical output before you start factoring in damage types and elements and all that kind of stuff. Her damage isn't there. Her vitality is pretty damn bad, 6th in the game, and that's only out of 7. Then her dexterity, also bad, which makes sense. It makes sense that her long-range blast of energy would not be that accurate. That makes sense. But she's still more accurate than Ziggy, and that doesn't make sense. Her evasion is also pretty bad. It's high. It's a mile higher than Ziggy. Ziggy has 60 evasion, she has 80, but it's still pretty bad compared to everybody else. Her agility is pretty damn good. It's tied for 2nd in the game. But then, like I said, her ether attack at 90 is not that great. Considering that if you're going to have Shion in the party, she's primarily going to be a caster for you, I would say. You would expect that to be a little bit higher. And then her ether defense is tied for second in the game. She's got good ether defense. I do have her set up a little bit differently than I have Ziggy set up. This is just kind of my personal preference for it. We have a rebound, 50% chance to counter boost, once again. Overload, once again, 50% chance of stock +2. But then, because she is ether based, I have changed it to EP half and ether boost. Ether attack damage is so good. I have that on both my ether casters. So overall, statistically speaking, before we add in the ether burst, she doesn't have the best attack in the game. After we add that, though, oh, she's good. She is good. The problem, though, as always, elements. Especially since she switches between beam and thunder, it causes a problem if I want to build a combo with Shion. That's kind of been the way the whole time. Ziggy, of course, is limited by only being able to hit the ground. That's pretty much the big thing on him. Everything that he does is fire, which is pretty cool that he can build his own combo that way. In terms of HP, her HP is pretty damn bad, but her EP is good. I mean, she's got less than half the HP of Ziggy, and in this game there's not really a way for me to focus my enemy's attacks on one of my characters, so not really feeling tanks in this game. You know, that's kind of the whole role of a tank, is to tank the damage, but I can't necessarily do that on purpose in this game. It just kind of happens naturally. But as you might expect, her EP is rather high. It's not the highest in the game. There will be more that is higher, but 90, that's pretty good. Next up, we do have Junior. He has more HP than Shion, but not by much. A little bit less EP, but that is understandable. His strength is pretty good. He's got 92 strength. That is third in the game. His vitality, however, is not so good. At 75, you'd expect somebody to, like, well, I guess he's kind of small, so he doesn't have too much vitality, but he seems to be a physical guy, and as a result, his low vitality is a little disappointing. It's actually fifth in the game. However, he is the most dexterous character. He's got max dexterity, 99. Remember, he shoots guns. He will never miss shooting with his guns, pretty much. But Ziggy will miss with his punch. His evasion is pretty good. It's third, 92. His agility is also good, tied for second fastest in the game with Shion. His ether attack is also tied with Shion, and considering that he doesn't use ether as his main source of attacking, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. His ether defense is also a little low, but it's understandable. It's actually sixth in the game. But considering that Ziggy's, who was the lowest, was 51, 80 is not too bad. It is not too bad. I have him set up the exact same that I have Ziggy set up, to be honest. With most of my physical attackers, I have them that way. Then we have Jin. Jin is kind of an interesting character. He's not what I would necessarily call the tank, but he is kind of tank-ish. He doesn't have the HP that Ziggy does, nor does he have the defense somewhat that Ziggy does. But he does play kind of an overall tank role in your party. He does have 2700 HP, that's nothing to laugh at, and he does have 84 EP, which is not that bad. His strength, however, is pretty bad. It is 91, and if you kind of account for what everybody attacks for, he's one of the worst attackers in the game. Which is kind of surprising because he's got a sword. You would assume that would be pretty good, but considering what people use to attack, I believe he is 5th or 6th in terms of actual damage output. His vitality is 88, which is pretty good, 3rd in the game. Once again, he's kind of your all-around character. Then you have pretty high dexterity, tied for 3rd with 92. His evasion, however, is pretty damn low. With 80, he's tied for, I believe, 5th in the game. I might have written that one down wrong. But his evasion, not what I would like. but it's something that you learn to deal with. This evasion that high, once you get that high, it doesn't matter too often. You're dodging most of the stuff that comes your way. He's slow, though. He is an agility of 7, which is a little surprising, but he's kind of your tank-ish character, so it's not too surprising that he's relatively slow. His ether attack is 88, which is pretty low. It's actually 6th in the game, but once again, compared to Ziggy's 50, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Then we have an 83 ether defense that is 5th in the game, and it's okay. It's decent. He is built the same as Ziggy and Junior are. Next up, we do have Momo. Momo is built just like Shion is. She's got the lowest HP in the game, but she does have the most EP in the game. She is, as you might expect, pathetic strength-wise. She has by far the worst strength in the game, 10 behind Shion, and Shion is like 40 behind everybody else. But just like Shion, Momo does not use strength as her way of attack. Her vitality is the worst in the game. She is not built for taking physical defense. Her dexterity, once again, surprisingly high, considering that she is a long-range attacker, right? She shoots a bow and arrow, and she has 96 dexterity with it. That would actually be 2nd in the game to Junior. So apparently long range does not affect dexterity all that much. Her evasion is the best in the game, as you might expect, to help counter the vitality weakness. She just doesn't get hit very often, but when she does, it hurts. She is also the fastest character in the game with 9 agility. Her ether attack at 96 is really what makes her one of the best characters in the game, and she is my favorite character to use in the game, late game. Once I start building up that evasion, then it becomes more and more useful for me to use Momo. And her ether defense is the best in the game. The reason that the ether attack being 96, which is actually 2nd in terms of overall attack to Ziggy's 97 strength. The reason that I like that the most is because I have her built like Shion, and I have that ether burst, so she should be doing massive amounts of damage thanks to the ether burst and the 96 ether attack. And then, of course, a lot of enemies are weak to whatever ether thing I can put on her. If I want to fire, I can use that, and that is very, very useful. So she becomes my favorite character to use.